I'm going to get started with my questions. I want to start with you, Dr. Small. We've heard some different theories today about why some people succeed, why others don't. Are you aware of any evidence that inherent genetic differences drive those economic outcomes?
No.
Would it be wise for Congress to make policy predicated on either gender or genetic or racial stereotypes?
No, it would be counterproductive.
Alternatively, would it be wise for Congress to focus on policies that invest in both peoples and communities, irrespective of race, religion, creed, and also irrespective of how diverse or even how remote or rural they are?
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm hoping we do today.
So you've done a lot of research about the benefits of investing in early childhood education, for example, Head Start. As the Congress works to invest in our nation's children, not only because it's the right thing to do, but because investing in our kids actually means investing in our collective economic future, what lessons would you hope that members of this committee would learn?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Senator. I guess I would say a couple of things. One is that we pay special attention to the evidence confirming the importance of early education, the evidence both that high-quality, well-organized early education programs work, the evidence that also, from a cost-benefit perspective, they're a wise investment, and the evidence that children in low-income communities, both in the poorest inner-city neighborhoods but also in rural parts of the country, tend to respond positively to those. The second thing I would add is that new evidence that's emerging from actually local experiments in multiple parts of the country suggests that thinking more expansively about the potential role of social capital in improving the benefits of these early education programs suggests that we could do more and more effectively by thinking a little bit more broadly about such programs. I guess the third thing I would say is that one common theme across many of these new experimental programs I have seen is the idea of no longer thinking about children and parents separately, but thinking about the family holistically. This is an issue where I found commentators on both the left and the right make a version of the same point. That if you think not just about whether you're taking care of the kid, but thinking about a child as part of a family unit with a collective, not individual set of problems, and therefore a collective rather than individual set of solutions, you're likely to get far better results, and you're likely to use make far better use of taxpayer dollars.
Thank you for bringing that up, because that's one of my other particular interests in this is the sort of two-generation approach to trying to deal with poverty. And we've seen great leadership in very diverse states, from Utah to New Mexico and others, with that approach, and we've seen real positive outcomes from it. I've certainly seen that work in a number of my communities in New Mexico. I've actually introduced some legislation with Senator Collins to try and increase opportunities and get out of those silos. And I think it may have been Dr. Levin who mentioned sort of the war on poverty and the progress that was made in the 1960s in some of these programs, but the need to recognize where we are today. And one of the things that I think the two-generation approach does is it recognizes that many of those things are in silos. And if they're in silos and you can't access them, then they're not actually supporting the family network. So we'll start with Dr. Small and go right across to Dr. Putnam, because I know he has an interest in this as well. What are your thoughts on the two-generation approach and its potential for sort of weaving these two things together of basic foundational support along with the importance of social capital?
Largely that I would agree. I think the point that philosophically it's difficult to tell people to worry more about family, but to create programs that only target their kids so the parents actually doesn't make a lot of sense. I think also from a practical perspective, what we have is a situation where there are out there very strongly skilled professionals who are specialists on children or who are specialists on parents and workforce development or early education, and therefore they do what they do best. I think in the absence of an outside intervention of the kind you're describing, where there's an incentive for these different kinds of specialists to think about the family as a unit, it'll be difficult for them to be naturally inclined to do so. So I actually find what the idea that you're proposing to be very promising, both from a philosophical but also from a practical perspective.
Thank you.